Today, the Speed Playground is coming to you from the Ascari Race Resort just outside Marbella, Spain. I spent all day on track at the world's most exclusive race resort and had an absolute blast in a car that is a rolling piece of junk, pretty much. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I will tell you it's a diesel, and it has an eco button, which means it's definitely not fast. It's heavy, ugly, and doesn't turn for crap. But I still had fun, and the tires are still on it, which is a positive. It was not a match for the Ferraris and Radicals that were out on track, as you'll see in some of the onboard footage that we put up. But still, I think we put this little beast through the ringer, and honestly, the star of the show is for sure the track. I mean, the track, I don't even know how many corners there are, but it's a really, really unique challenge. If you ever have the opportunity to come drive here, definitely take advantage of it. There's multiple sections that, even in a slow, fat, ugly, stupid-ass car like I had, are still a ton of fun. And it's definitely worth coming up here. And you get to see some great scenery. As you can see behind me, we're surrounded by mountains. It's a very picturesque place. They treat you fantastically here. Unfortunately, I had a grand plan of having a nice video of all the cars in the paddock and kind of a day in the life of a track day at Ascari. But as soon as I got here, we were told that due to private testing, no photos were allowed. In fact, they even put tape on my cell phone cameras. But I came prepared with other cameras. So what we'll probably do is just show you some onboard footage, give you a tour of the track. Like I said, splendid track, fantastic time. The group of people here are amazing, some incredible cars, and being that it's the middle of the winter, we really didn't scratch the surface. I think if we were to come here at a slightly different time of year, it would have been a little bit more busy and would have had even more exciting cars to see. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and definitely tune in next time. Hopefully we'll have some stuff coming up from Australia, maybe London, who knows, or Nebraska? I don't know. Time will tell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Alright, let's go for a few laps on the track. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a chance to hear the awesome power of this machine that we're driving. So I'm going to be quiet for a little bit, but be warned, you do have to listen closely. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? Maybe I'll just have to whisper for the rest of this video so you can listen to the fantastic sounds coming out of that diesel engine. It's crazy to think that the tire noise is louder than the motor, but it is what it is. And I'm done with that. We're about a third of the way through the lap at this point, and while we haven't come through anything truly spectacular yet, we're about to come up to the first truly enjoyable part of the lap. And that's going to be this left-hand banked corner coming up just ahead. As is the case with most banked corners, you can carry a lot more speed than you'd really think, and you can feel the car compress right there as the G-forces really compress that suspension, and you get a little bit more grip, and you can actually, it's almost like you can feel the right front tire just getting destroyed because of the amount of G-forces going through it, especially on a crappy street car like this one. Next up, we have this tight left-hander, which is vitally important as you need to get a good exit out of this corner to go onto the very, very long, fast back straight section. In certain cars, this next right-hander could be very tricky. Now, this car being so slow, I could go through it tapped in 5th gear without really much issue. If you have a fast car without a lot of downforce, that corner is going to be really, really difficult to get through there, probably not at full throttle either. And from this point on, the track is just fantastic. Getting into some of my favorite parts of the track, first up is this quick left-right chicane where you bounce off curb, 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 and then you push the front tire all the way out and duck back down to set yourself up for Mini Eau Rouge, as they call it. And if you do it right, you can bounce off the curb here. And at that point, I was bouncing off the left curb, and I think a couple of times I was getting air under the left side of the car. Coming up next, we've got a deceptively slow left corner. You're going pretty fast through here, and it's you have to set up your braking just right to be able to slow down enough to clip that left curb on the inside. My exit on that last corner really screwed me up for this series of fast right-handers, but it's because of these dudes. A couple of radicals going by, and those things with high downforce, a lot more power than the car I'm in, and a lot less weight. I decided to show proper driving etiquette and just let them go, because as you'll see, they're gone in a hurry. Coming up next, we've got another curb style chicane. We'll bounce it off the right curb and the left curb. Then we set up for this quite tricky turn 3. It's a blind apex left. You have to dive in here before you can really even see the apex. Try and get down to that curb, and then in this car, you're full throttle all the way through this left-hander as you set up for a left-right chicane. This chicane is similar to one later in the lap that we already talked about, where it's very easy to go fast through the first corner, but it completely screws up your line for the second corner. As we come out of this right-hander, we are on a medium length straight as we approach a very fast right corner. And while this corner isn't incredibly tricky, what's tricky about it is when you come out, you pretty much have to get on the brakes for the tight right-hander right as you've hit your exit reference point. So if you screw anything up at all, or you have the wheel turned a bit, it can make the car move around quite a lot. We're back at the banked corner that we started chatting about, and coming out of here, we set up for that other chicane that I just referenced earlier. This is the corner where I could go flat out through here, but I had to keep my exit fairly narrow so that I could get a good drive out of this corner up to the tight left-hander. Again, this left-hander is really important. You have to take a very late apex to get a good drive out of here onto the long back straight. And while it wasn't incredibly tricky, I did really enjoy this fast right. It is fast enough to where if you don't hit your turn in just right, you'll either bounce into the dirt on the right or go up on the curb on the left. And it's not completely straightforward. You do have to work at it to be able to get through there correctly. And after that, we have a very fast right kink, which should be flat out in any car, followed by a medium speed right-hander that we use to set up for the left-right-left chicane. And again, bouncing off all of the curbs and running a bit wide out into almost up into the tires there, but getting a good line to go through Mini Eau Rouge. Bouncing it off the left curb here, and then setting up for this tricky blind right-hander into a downhill banked left corner. Most of the time when I went through that corner, the car would activate its stability control system for reasons that I'm unaware of, but I wasn't a big fan of it, and it kind of took away some of the fun of that corner, because you'd be able to slide all the way out to the edge of the corner without it. And coming up next is the last corner on the track, a fast right-hander that actually did quite a number on my car. At this point of the day, I'm already going pretty slow through here because I've already lost massive chunks of rubber from the left front tire going through here at speed. And as you might have figured by now, this was a rental and I did need to get it to the airport the following day, so I started taking it easy so that I had rubber to drive home on. And that's been a couple of not very quick laps from the Ascari Race Resort. Thanks again for watching the Speed Playground, and we'll see you next time as we continue our adventures at racetracks around the world.